Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Millennial Entrepreneur Podcast. My name's Sina and I love following the journeys of other young entrepreneurs. And in today's episode, we've got a really cool episode. Today I spoke to Tom from Potion Universe. Really exciting episode because this is the first time we've had a guest on that started a business around the food and drink space. Potion Universe is an alcoholic cocktail drinks brand, and we talk about the origins of the recipe, where it was discovered just by accident at their own home, to an idea of building a business around it, to finally where they are now with an amazing looking product. I've personally always wanted to learn about how to start my own food and drink brand, and so speaking with Tom was a real valuable, chat, and taught me a hell of a lot. Okay, so that takes me to this week's shout out. So every week, in case you don't know, I'm doing a shout out to someone who's left a written review on Apple Podcasts, just to show you that I appreciate all the comments and I really love to see them. I read them all. So yeah, if you want to get a shout out in the next episode, be sure to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts with your name, of course, because otherwise I won't know who you are, and I'll give you a shout out in the next episode. If you're an Android, however, I know you can't leave a review on Apple Podcasts, really annoying. But if you are, just leave me a comment or a DM on my Instagram page, and I'll give you a shout out anyway. So in this week's shout out, it goes to my friend Maya, who's actually started her own podcast around the young entrepreneur space called the Making It Big podcast. Check it out. I'll leave a link in the description in case you want to check out more podcasts dedicated to young entrepreneurs. Hers is really good, and I highly recommend it. And lastly, be sure to follow us on our Instagram because there are some amazing new projects coming up, some amazing cool news that's coming up that you do not want to miss. And you'll be the first ones to know on the Instagram page. So be sure to follow because you won't miss any new episodes, announcements, along with all the previews, all the audiograms and all that good stuff, as well as, some sort of announcements that I always like to make on the Instagram. So be sure to follow us on there and you can be kept in the loop. So without further ado, let's get on with the episode. Okay, hey Tom, how's it going?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, mate, I'm very good. I'm very excited to have you on the podcast because I've never had a business that is focusing on food. Never before.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much.
Mate, it's my absolute pleasure.
We're going to be the first of many.
Yeah, I definitely want to branch out because we've done cool stuff on the podcast. We've done we've done an episode on mental health, which is really interesting. We did an episode on loads of tech products. Obviously, we did an episode on plants, which was a good one for me. I really like that. Mm-hmm. We did an episode on washing machines. It's very diverse, but we've never had any food, which is why when you came to me, DM me, I was like, yeah, this needs to happen. So yeah. And it's alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, it's an alcoholic drink. So basically our first offering to the market is called the Potion. So the Potion is a 11.5 alcoholic drink. It's a cognac cocktail based drink. It first came about, found out Michael. So Michael and me have known each other for years. Through our mutual, Michael and me have known each other for years. We met through our mutual friend called Kobe. So Michael originally came up with the concept when he was at one of his relatives' house. Jamaicans, they like to drink all the time. So do Africans, but Jamaicans love drinking. We all love, actually. We all love drinking. So Michael said that he was...
It's everyone.
Yeah. So Michael said that he was in the kitchen and then people were telling him to make them a drink. So he was going to the kitchen, going to the front room, going to the kitchen, going to the front room. Then he said he doesn't know what happened, but in that process, he found a recipe or a drink that people liked. So then Michael had been making it for all of us all the time. So we would be around all the friends. Obviously, we call it the man them, the geezers, the fellas, the lads. And then he would make it for us all the time. And then there was one time we went to Newcastle. Why I, lad? Why I? And then I had the drink and I fell in love. And I said, no, you know what, Michael? We're going to turn this into a business. And then from there, me and Michael just said, yeah, we're going to turn this into a business. And we've turned it into a business. It's been eye-opening, very, very eye-opening.
Mate, that's mad. How long ago was that?
Okay, so initially when we said we were going to turn it into business, I think it was over 10 years ago. But due to stuff happening, other circumstances, etc., we weren't able to do that then. But then we then registered the business in 2016. And then from there, we researched, we saw the market, we saw what was on the market, and we realized our product is truly a unique product that is not on the market and has a reach of many people, as it's vegan based. It's a cocktail, and in many London clubs, I know this some people might find this boring, but it's the truth. In many London clubs, you go to a club and let's say, for example, you order a cocktail when it's happy hour, and I'll go back to that phrase happy hour, and then the bartender will make your cocktail. He'll pour all of the contents of the liquid into the cocktail. Then whatever else is there, he'll pour away. Now, what we're doing is we're saying that this is a cocktail. You can go to a club, or you can go wherever you want. Our cocktails behind the bar. Just drink the cocktail straight away, and you know it's value for money. And the reason why it's called happy hour is because they want you to go there and spend. Whereas once happy hour is finished, the cocktails prices are still up, and you don't get the bang for your buck that you would want.
Yeah. So it's a really good quality. I haven't actually tasted it yet. I know you kindly sent me some, but I'm not actually a huge drinker, but like, obviously I want to give it a go. But so it's basically a like good quality cocktail that isn't at the sort of extortionate prices, because like these cocktail prices are high, like they're really high.
Yeah, and the thing is, people think that as we live in London, that things are, how would I say, things are reasonably priced. You can go to places like Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham. You can go there and get cocktails for next to nothing. And then when you come back to London, you're just like, I went to Liverpool and I paid £10 for 2 cocktails in a premium club in Liverpool, whereas I come to London and I can pay £10 and that won't even buy me a cocktail in a premium club in London. Do you know what I mean? That's why Wetherspoons is the best. Wetherspoons are the best.
Yeah, like it's crazy like how high the costs, like prices are for this sort of stuff. Like I went to university in Bristol, and like even then the price is like pretty high. Like even though I'm not a huge drinker anyway, but like I understand like the prices are really, really high. So like what's the sort of price on like the sort of like your drinks?
Okay, so normally a cocktail is £8. But what we've done is we've come up with a revised recipe. So if you're just buying one cocktail, it's £8. Then we have the option of you to buy at discounted rates. So you can buy 3 bottles of potion for £20. We also have kegs as well. So kegs is more of a party thing. So it's a 5-litre keg. So we had a competition before where we said to people, follow us, tell your friends to follow us, and a lucky person we picked at random and they win a keg, and we gave that keg out, which was a good competition as well. We just wanted to give back to people and show them that we appreciate them. So like I said, we've got the buy 3 bottles for £20, and then obviously we've got the kegs as well, buy 2 kegs for £160. And it just depends how much people want to buy, because with those special offers as well, you know, if you double it, you're getting 6 bottles for £40, and that's saving you money as well. Because we'd rather people buy more for less than buy a bottle for £8.
We've had so many interesting guests and so many, inspiring people on the podcast, from someone who's created an app to save plants, to someone who's created washing machines for people in need, mental health experts in the youth mental health space. But we've never actually had anyone that's created a food and drink brand. So, it was such an interesting chat with Tom. And so I really wanted to ask him how he went from the idea to an actual physical product that I actually tried the other day.
There's one thing Michael taught me, and that's research. Research here could turn an idea, let's say, for example, art idea, into a viable business. So we researched, we realized we can get bottles, we can get this, we can get that, we can get everything that we needed just through research, and we can improve the recipe that we did. So we went to a lab in what was it again? It's outside of Reading in Newbury. Shout out Buzz Foods. So they helped us develop our recipe to get it where it is now. Also, what we did as well is we had to, through the research rather, we saw that there was a space in the market for our product, because that was another thing that the research gave us as well. Because we researched and we realized there are lots of, I think this is the first time I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it again. There are so many rum-based drinks in London or around the UK. So being a rum-based drink is very saturated, a very, very saturated market. So you'd have to come up with something truly unique and the taste that really does draw people in and really make them want to always go to you for your specific rum, whether it being a mango rum. I think there's mango, there's peach, there's any type of rum, but it has to be truly unique. As well, research showed us that we needed to get alcohol licenses as well. Everything is due to research, and it helped us to know that there was a market for our product. Because the one thing you always have to go on, sorry.
I was going to ask. So you think for people who are out there who like brag about their chicken wing recipe, I'm going to keep going to this.
Yeah.
Like how can it go from kind of, I've got this really good recipe to, I can sell this, and you say that's the research?
Yeah. So obviously what you would do is let's say for example, I'll go on Google and I'll be like chicken recipes or marinade or sauce or whatever, or some people call it condiments as well, but whatever it is that your specific sauce you think that the specific criteria that it is in, you go and research that. And the more you research into it, the more you pinpoint what it is, what it does, how people use it, what you would need to do. And from that research will lead you on to further research and further research, and to the point where you've pinpointed exactly what it is, what it does, who might like it, and how it might appeal to people. And once you've got those, then break it down further into its atoms. Then
I like that.
Yeah. Thank you. Then through that, you realize whether you can go to a food lab, you research a food lab, and then from there you contact them, tell them about your idea, etc. You go there on a day, and then they will help you fine tune your recipe and all recipes that you might have. Because if you're going to make a sauce, or if you're going to make a drink, or if you're going to do anything that's consumer based, you're not just going to have one. You might, let's say for example, like potion, we might let people get used to the potion original flavor, but there's other flavors on the way, and that's how you do it.
For sure.
And then your marinade, you might not just stop with a chicken wing marinade or a marinade. You might have the crisps. You might have a drink to go with it. Do you know what I mean? Opportunities are endless, but it's just that one thing that sparks the whole idea.
Mate, by the end of the podcast, we're gonna have a chicken recipe together. We're just gonna keep working through it. We're just gonna, by the end of it, Cena and Tom's chicken marinade.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Where are these sort of like?
Yeah. Many, because obviously we're not a big company, but many companies have their own. They have their own facilities or they have their own labs. So there's so many industrial estates, whether it being in London, whether it being outside of London, or whether it being across the UK. There's going to be labs there. There's going to be people that test the pH levels, the amount of sugar that's in a product, anything that any consumer has, anything that has to be consumed by a consumer is going to be tested, so that on the packaging it has to be said. You have to have the stamp of approval. You have to basically follow the guidelines so that people know that this is fine for them to eat and it's not harmful to them. and people have
But
to know what they're eating.
at what stage do you go to those guys? Like, what stage is it? Literally after you've done your research and you think you've got a decent recipe, or even like before that, that you literally just got an idea for a food product. You don't really know what the flavors are going to be, but you think this would be a really good food product. At what stage do you think like that's like, what do these guys do? And like, at what stage do you think you can make use of them?
I think it all depends on people themselves. Because with us, what we did is we made sure we done so much that we could do ourselves. And then when we came to the stage where we said, you know what, let's then take this to a food lab to help us further on in our journey. That's where it took us. Whereas there might be somebody that might be like, you know what, I can make this in my house. Because that's how some people start off. They make their product in their house. You get so much orders. And then they're like, you know what, we can't maintain this anymore. We have to go and seek out someone else to bottle and label our products and put the products into bottles for us. Or actually, let me rephrase that. They might go to a lab and they seek out somebody's help so that person can do all the jobs for them. And some people go, sorry.
What about actually like creating the flavor in the first place? What about creating the actual like product in the first place? Would you say the best place for that is to maybe do it at home if you can? Or are there like people out there like recipe developers that actually like help you doing that sort of thing?
I think there is recipe developers like the Food Buzz people. They develop recipes as well. But I think what you need to do as well, my one piece of advice, try out everything at home. Because the thing about trial and error is a beautiful thing, because you know, like, let's say for example, you're talking about me and you making a marinade or chicken sauce. We know that we can make something in our kitchen. But if we give it to people and they don't like it, or we give it to a certain amount of people and they don't like it, we know that this chicken recipe, there is people that's going to like it, and there's a lot of people that's going to like it. There's not a lot of people that's going to like it. Why don't these people like it? Then we go back, we change it. Now, if we know that we've perfected the recipe as much as we can in our kitchen and we've made a lot of money from it, we then can go to a recipe developer to develop it so that it's as healthy as possible. And the health benefits, everything that's inside that recipe gets put onto the label, and then we can go and sell it on a mass scale, and then we can go to the supermarkets.
Oh mate, that sounds sick. Yeah. Like how, like, can you actually legally sell food like out of your own house? Like, can you actually do that? Like, because you need some sort of packaging or something, don't you? Yeah. Like, how does that actually work? I don't know anything about this.
The thing is, you need, I think you need one or two licenses. Like we've both got personal, alcohol licenses. But let's say, for example, me or Michael was to do an event, we will need a event license so that they know that we're holding an event. But because we've got alcohol license, we can sell alcohol anywhere. You can sell alcohol anywhere. All it is that people want to know that what you're doing is consumer friendly, and that if people consume it, nothing's going to happen to them. That's why some people they might need insurance as well.
Oh, okay. But for something like because like for you guys, I'm trying to think, like if I wanted to start an alcohol brand like you guys did, like did you start literally in your own houses?
Yeah, because that's where most people start. Because we knew that there was some sort of demand for the drink, we just said, you know what, let's start small. So people ring us, okay, we go sell to them. People want this here, we go sell to them. We go this event, we go that event. We give it to people for free. We speak here, we go here, go there. That's the beautiful thing about selling to people as well. The more people that like a product, the more you realize there is a product. So even if it does go to, let's say, for example, the food lab, and then they tweak the recipe, we know that recipe that we're giving to them, people have already shown that they love it. So even if it's tweaked, one or two things might, let's say, for example, the sugar content, they might lower it a little bit just because they think that it's a bit too high, and it might not be good to people. So people still love the drink. It's just that they want it to be as safe as possible.
Yeah. Mate, it's kind of mad. Like, I actually think about like this sort of thing, and I would actually love to be in a position. Maybe in a few years, I'll call you and I'll tell you I've got there. But I'd love to be in a position where I've got like an actual like physical, like a food product's really like attractive to me. I don't really know why, but yeah, it just is. And it's really cool that you've actually got something
Thank you.
out there. Like, do you think it's kind of mad? Like, or because you came up with you went up to your friend Michael and you're like, oh, let's start this business.
Yeah.
And you've actually like got the product and you can actually touch it. It's not like a technology product where it's kind of on your phone, but it's actually it's a food product where you can actually hold it and you can actually taste it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is mad because it's like, say for example, me and Michael was at there's an event called the Black Business show. I think we were there a few years ago. Our one problem is that we forgot to bring a card reader, which we learned anyway, it's our first show. So we've gone there. We didn't know what to expect because we know people like the drink, but this is direct selling to the customers. So you go there, you just say to yourselves, you know what, whatever happens today happened, but we just want to see how the consumers will gauge us. So we've gone there now. We've given samples on the table and people's come to us. They're like, oh, yeah, how you guys? Okay. What is this, a rum? That's another time. That's the second time I mentioned rum. People, first of all, it's a rum. We're like, no, it's a cognac, it's cocktail. They're like, oh, is it? That's interesting. Let me taste. Straight away, people are like, oh my God, that is so nice. This, and you're just like, oh my God. Like, we can't believe it because remember, sometimes, I was listening to a podcast and what somebody said was so true. Sometimes your friends don't help you when it comes to developing a business.
Mate, we literally said that in the last episode. Literally, that's what we said. Yeah,
because some of your friends are going to be like, yeah, that's good. When sometimes it's not good at all. They're not telling you the truth and they're not helping you to further develop that product or service. Do you know what I mean? But hearing it from people that don't even know you, it means that you must have something. Let's say, for example, there was this woman. So I can't remember what time it was, but it was definitely before 11. Definitely before 11. So she must have come up to the table and she was like, "Oh, what's this you guys are selling?" And obviously we told her. She was like, I can't even put on the accent properly. She was like, oh, you know me.
Mate, don't forget the accent.
She's like, oh, you know me. I can handle my drink. Okay, so Michael gave her a shot of drink. So she took it in once and she took it in and she stepped back twice. We laughed our heads off. She was just like, I wasn't ready for this. It's only 11 something. I was not ready for this. And then after that, she bought 2 bottles. So that just goes to show.
It's when they actually, like buy it and they actually like, when they're actually buying it, it means that, and then they don't know you or anything. It means that, you're doing something right for sure. Mm-hmm. As with any sort of thing, if you've got paying customers, that's the best validation that you can have for your business. Mm-hmm. But like, that's so cool.
Thank you very much, man. It's all it is the fact that we went out somewhere. We didn't know what to expect. I think that's one good thing about the business. Business is just about the unknown. Do you know what I mean? It's like being in a forest and it's in the dark and you don't know what is around you, but it's just go with the flow. So after we finished the event, we couldn't even believe it. So many people called. Our only problem was that we didn't have a card reader, but we learned so much that day. We learned about ourselves. We learned like the drink would sell the drink sells itself basically, and that we had a good product. It was a good event. It was a good event.
Mate, that's mad. I want to go back to like actually how you developed it. So when you first kind of had the idea, you had the recipe, mm-hmm. and so did you actually start selling from your house? So you actually started bottling it at your house. Mm-hmm. You actually started like branding it from your house. Because what I'm thinking, like practically selling out your home, but just selling any product really, there's quite a lot of barriers that you have to kind of go over before you kind of get to the stage where you're ready to sell to people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because one of the things is hygiene. Like you need to make sure that wherever you like bottling or labeling in the kitchen, or even if it's not in the kitchen, you need to make sure all the surfaces are wiped down, everything is clean. You need to make sure it's like if I'm going to sell the drink to somebody, I treat it like it's myself. We both treat it like it's ourselves. So if the kitchen is dirty and all the rest of it, you wouldn't want to go eat in a restaurant knowing that the back of the restaurant was dirty. Or
Yeah, 100%.
you wouldn't
Yeah.
want to go to a hotel, a 5-star hotel, paying all this money for the hotel, going to the room, and the room is a complete and utter mess, and it's not what they advertise to you in the brochure or online or wherever you saw it. Do you know what I mean? So you'd want to just treat
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
how you want yourself to be treated. And when people taste the drink and they like the experience, word of mouth will always carry your brand as well.
Yeah, great advice. Yeah, great advice. So like, did you actually buy the sort of bottles?
Yes.
Like, where did you practice? Like, where did you actually get them from and all of that?
I'm not allowed to say where we got them from, sorry, but the bottle that you're going to see when you taste the potion is the bottle that we've got now. We're actually moving towards a final bottle itself. But even the bottle you're going to see now, we went through a process. I think there's been like over 10 different types of bottles, because
Oh, mad.
even with the bottles themselves, we wanted to make sure that the design could go into the bottles. Obviously, we've got seals on the bottles as well. So those seals have to fit the bottles. You want to make sure the bottles are eye-catching. Do you know what I mean? There's so many
Yeah.
things that go into just a concept of the potion. So many things.
Yeah.
That's why
That's what
people
I mean,
start.
man. There's so many small things that like you
Yeah.
have to think about when you're selling like a food product out of your own like home in the beginning.
Mhm.
Like I'm just trying to think about, there's so many small things that you have to get right, or you can get wrong and then learn from them, which is probably
Yeah.
what you did. But like you have to get them right in the end. And yeah, it just seems like, for me, it just seems a bit, it's like I'd love to do it. And I'm just thinking like, these are the practical steps that I need to overcome to achieve it.
Yeah, throw yourself in the deep end, because all it is, like I said before, is trial and error. Because remember, because you're small scale, or because you're going to start off small scale, there's so much things that you can trial and fail at, but then you learn from it. Trial and fail at, you learn from it. Trial and fail, and you learn from it. And then at the end, you know what works for you, what doesn't work for you, how you can use that going forward, and how you then can use that maybe for developing another product, and if there's any weaknesses, how you can find possible solutions.
Yeah. Where did you actually sell them in the beginning? Did you sell them literally like, did you have a website, or did you sell them like from Instagram? Did you sell them
We
to
sold
Fred?
them.
Like, yeah.
We sold them from Instagram. I think we sold them from Snapchat. We sold it from
Snapchat.
yeah. Sold it from Snapchat. We sold it from word of mouth. I think there was Facebook. Just people just like the drink, so that's what we did. We're currently working on a website now, literally working on a website now, and I think there's one or two other sites that we're going to be up on as well.
Were you like surprised in the early stages, like how, like, did you get like many sales at the beginning, or was it like very slow? Even because you were going through like unconventional channels, you could say, although right now they're being used like very conventionally.
Yeah, I think it was slow. But what it was is sometimes, like, you get these big brands, like, let's say for example Jack Daniels. Let's say Jack Daniels. Remember,
Yeah.
Jack Daniels has a budget, so they have a marketing team. We don't have a marketing team. Remember, because they have a marketing team, if you were to break down the marketing team and the marketing department itself, they've got maybe like $1 billion budget, or however much money that they've got, that they can just throw anyhow they want. But we don't have that, so we had to come up with ways in which we can appeal to different people with what we have and still be relevant to whatever else is out there. Like, we went to this place the one time to meet these two guys called the Drink Twins, and we're still in contact with them. And we went, I can't remember where, I think it was somewhere just off of Gooch Street in Covent Garden, near to Covent Garden. And then one of the guys that with the bartenders, he was just like, "Oh, this you guys drink?" We said, "Yeah, this is our drink. Do you want to taste it?" He tasted it. He said, "I can't believe this." He said, "You guys have got something here." He said, "This is better than the $1.99 drinks that they mix, like the Smirnoff with the lemonade or the tonic and tonic type thing." He said, this is really good. Like, this is really, really good. I wasn't expecting this, man. Hats off to the both of you. And I was just like, raw. But that's That's another way of how you put your things out there.
Yeah. Like, was it quite difficult? Like when your business partner like came up with the recipe, was it quite difficult like scaling it up to like a bigger scale?
Not necessarily, because he normally does all the maths. That's one thing I would say as well. Sometimes not sometimes, when you're working in a team of people, you need to have people that have different skills. So I'm not as
Yeah.
good as I am with maths, but I'm a very, very creative person. So when it comes to skill, it just depends on the order, really. But most of the time, we know, okay, this will make this amount, that will make this amount, this will make this amount. So we're gonna need this much of this, or we're gonna need the ratio of apples to bananas, or whatever it is. But we know how much it is.
Yeah. Because I'm just thinking like, might be for some people it might be quite difficult scaling up because they just like lose like sight of the sort of numbers, and it might just get on top of them, and then like when they actually scale up it might not be as good as when it's on a smaller scale.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
guess that would be a problem for some people.
Yeah, it's true. But that's why like I said, there's always people like BuzzFoods, or there should be templates and stuff online anyway that can show you how to scale up, or beginner's way to scale up, or how you might want to scale up, or the amount of people you're catering to as well. Because sometimes it can be the simplest things. It's just that because it's to do with business, because you want to provide a good service, because people have ordered, you want to make sure that you do the best you possibly can and give them your 100%. You overthink things. That in itself is a problem. So you just calm yourself down. A certain amount of people want this. We have this. We need to make sure we have X, Y, and Z, and this will make just for these people. There might be some left over. That leftover can be just for people that maybe didn't even order it, to just be testers on the table. You never know what sales you can get from that. Then you take it from there.
Yeah. Okay, Tom, we're like almost running out of time, but like one last thing I want to ask you just to fit it in is, could you give like a step-by-step sort of how you would go from idea to food product to be able to sell? Like a step-by-step, like pretty quick. I know you've already alluded to some of them, but yeah, just for the lazy listeners who just want to like get as much value out of you as possible. What would you say?
I'd say research, which would be A. Then B would be using the research. And then C would be using the research to find the solutions to weaknesses that you might find in B. And then that would lead you on the way to where you need to be. Because what we did is we researched, we realized that there was a market for what we wanted to do. C was how we would relate to the market and what different things we need to use. So ours was bottles, designs, etc., etc., etc. And that's what helped us on our way. Research is one of the most important things ever. Obviously, you need funding as well, but research will help you determine whether your idea is viable or not. Because some people do have the ideas, but unfortunately, the ideas are not viable. However, with research, it will really, really, really help. It will really, really help you on your way to being an entrepreneur or even starting up a business, regardless of what business it is, whether it's going to be a product or service. Because you need to always remember, every business idea out there has been done by somebody or other. You're just adding your own twist to it.
All right. Okay, cool. Thanks so much for sitting down with me, Tom. That's really good advice. And like when I eventually, hopefully in the future, have my own food product, I'll get in touch with you and I'll tell you all about it. Don't really have any ideas at the moment, but I'm like constantly brainstorming. It's something that's always in my mind. And I think eventually it will happen. Like, you can hold me to that. Eventually it will happen.
No, I'll definitely hold you to that.
All right, sweet. Yeah, okay. How could people stay in touch with you, stay in touch with Potion Universe in the meantime?
Okay, so I would say just Potion Universe. So Potion Universe is as it sounds. So it's Potion, Poiton, and Universe, which is Universe. So it's Instagram Potion Universe, Facebook Potion Universe, Snapchat, Potion Universe as well.
Can people buy like your drinks from anywhere in the meantime?
People can buy from our People can buy from our Instagram. Obviously we've got the Facebook as well. Facebook us. We always reply to all your inquiries, your DMs, etc. We're easy accessible people. We're here for the people as well, because we're not only about alcohol. We want to help people, because once we all reach our goals, it's good to help people, because there's been many people in the industry that have helped us even to the stage we are now, and we're not. I wouldn't say that we are somewhere, but we're nowhere near where we want to be. So we're still climbing. But there's many people out there that are in our position or even further that have helped us. So we're always here to help people as well. So even if people want to get in touch, please message us.
All right, cool. Thanks so much, Tom, for sitting down with me. And yeah, thanks for coming on the podcast. I know a lot of people will get a lot of value from you. So
thank you very much, man. Anything I can say that will help people or inspire people. That's what we're all here for, man. That's
exactly. All right, nice one. See you later, my friend.
All right, see you later, man. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Millennial Entrepreneur. I really, really appreciate that you made it to the end. And I really hope that you enjoy this episode as much as I did talking to Tom. And definitely check his drink out. It's a really cool drink. And I really think, they're onto something with their recipe. And don't forget to follow us on our Instagram page. As I said at the beginning of the episode, all the new announcements are going to be made on there. And there's actually a lot of cool announcements coming up, so you do not want to miss it. So again, thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.